Good morning everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today's video is an update to my previous video. Iran threatens to close the Strait of Hormuz. Today, the headlines are screaming that Iran is threatening to shut down the Strait of Hormuz and the entire global oil supply chain could be affected. This is very serious. But before I jump into it, please make sure you leave a like below to help with the algorithm and support independent media. And also subscribe to my newsletter by clicking the link in the description. You will get more content and updates from me there as well. In today's video, we're going to discuss 3 new developments since we last spoke about this 2 days ago. No one, the response from the West and from the United States specifically. What China has to say about this threat. And third, how the price of oil reacted to these threats yesterday. Yesterday was very interesting. First, let's quickly recap what we have been discussing. On Monday, November 29, 2021, Iran held a military drill near the Strait of Hormuz. This drill simulated an attack on U.S. aircraft carriers and included ballistic missiles and attack drones. The general who oversaw the drill said if the U.S. dares attack Iran, Iran will close the Strait of Hormuz and shut off the oil supply to the entire world. Now, he later said, and I'm going to quote, "We will not allow even a drop of oil to be sold in the Persian Gulf region. If a single drop of Iranian oil is prevented from selling," this was considered a message to the West, of course, because the West continues to impose sanctions on Iranian oil and prevent it from being sold on the open market. Of course, that hurts the Iranian economy tremendously. It makes it difficult for them to fund their military operations and, of course, the daily needs of their citizens. So they feel like they have no other choice but to take action and, of course, to retaliate. Now, Iran is not bluffing. They do have the capability and the willingness to close the Strait of Hormuz. As I explained in the previous video, it would be very easy for them to do so. All it would take is a few small boats to block the strait and large commercial vessels would not be able to pass through. There are around 20 tankers passing through the Strait of Hormuz every single day. And of course, if they stop, oil prices would skyrocket. Many countries rely on oil coming from West Asia. And in case you don't know, there are 3 major oil suppliers in the world: the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Russia. Saudi Arabia supplies oil to most of Europe and many countries around the world. So, if the Saudis stop selling oil or if the price goes up due to the shortage, European countries would be affected immediately. In addition to that, Iran controls a major portion of natural gas that is sold to Turkey. If that supply stops, Turkey may not have enough energy to power their homes and factories. So Iran does have quite a lot of leverage and quite a lot of power over the world economy. Now, there were statements made by the Pentagon, by the State Department, by the White House, and of course, they said that they do believe that Iran has the intention or the capability to actually close the strait. The Pentagon called these statements not. However, they did admit that Iran has the capability to cause serious disruptions in the region. Let me read you what they said. "We know that the Iranians have said publicly that they have the capability to close the Strait of Hormuz. We know that that's a key strategic passage for international commerce and trade. And we know that if that were disrupted, it would have ripple effects around the world. But I think the most important thing is that we don't see any indication right now of an imminent threat of force against U.S. forces or disruption of the free flow of commerce in the region." But this is exactly what they said when the Taliban took over Afghanistan, when the situation at the border became dire, when the supply chain crisis started getting worse and worse. They always say there is no imminent threat. Then suddenly there is a huge problem, and only then they start scrambling to find solutions. So hopefully, this time around, they are actually taking actions while they still can to avoid a major catastrophe. Another very interesting statement was made by China. China said they hope that relevant parties can properly handle the relevant disputes and differences through dialogue and consultation and maintain the security and stability of the shipping channels in the Middle East, which is something that we can all hope for. But in reality, do we really think that the United States and Iran would actually sit at the negotiating table? Do we really think that they would be able to come to some sort of an agreement? It doesn't seem likely. But let's just hope for the best. The biggest question of the day, of course, is what happens next. What will Iran do? What will the United States do? And what will happen to the price of oil? Well, the price of oil did react yesterday. Let me show you a quick chart. Yesterday, the price of oil went up significantly. Brent crude jumped to a high of $82.40 per barrel. That is the highest price since October 2014. And West Texas Intermediate jumped at $81.90. This is the highest price since October 2018. The reason behind these increases, of course, is the uncertainty. Traders don't want to take a chance that maybe there will be a supply interruption. Even if the chance is very low, they want to protect themselves from a potential spike in oil prices. Now, this morning, the price of oil did pull back a little bit, and I think it is because traders are waiting to see how the United States reacts to these threats. Will they engage in diplomatic talks? Will they send additional naval assets to the region? Will they increase the production from the strategic reserves? Because so far, they haven't done anything yet, and this uncertainty is what drives the price of oil up. So until we see actions, until we see how this situation will develop, we should expect continued volatility in the oil markets. I do want to remind you that we are heading into winter. Demand for oil and natural gas is increasing, and this is something that traders are taking into consideration when making their decisions. So unless the situation in the Middle East gets resolved, I do expect the price of oil to remain elevated and move higher. Let me know what you think. Can Iran really shut off the entire global oil supply chain? Would other countries in the region step in and help? Or will the price of oil continue to rise? Leave your comments below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate your time. Remember to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel and to my newsletter, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Take care.